something that they didn't have to give. If they just would have let Obamacare, like they're going to have to now, just pull itself all the way to the very end, you would pull the Democrats in to say, okay, Mr. President, we have to come up with something, because they realized the fact that they would go from having this many seats to this many seats if nobody has insurance at all.
Well, when I'm saying that this is the best thing, and when Trump says this is the best thing that could possibly happen, I think that we're both saying that in the context of this loss. You know, obviously, if we could go back in time a month and a half or even 2 weeks ago before he really signed on to this bill, because there was a point in time where Donald Trump was still very much outside of this bill. He got dragged into it, as you've said time and time again, by Paul Ryan, and he allowed his name to be attached to it. And that was not months ago.
I don't like your word.
No, really?
Yeah, I don't like your word dragged. Nobody drags Donald Trump. You know, what he did was he got lured. It's two different things. Okay. If I get up right now and I grab you and I pull you, I'm taking you and you're being dragged into something. If I turn around and say to you, hey, listen, there's something in here for you. You know, I lure you in. And so he was lured in based on his inexperience in Washington, D.C. He was lured in because I don't think the people around him understand how these things work in the back rooms, like the establishment works. The establishment is a very, very nasty place to be. I've been victim to these guys before, even on a very small level. They will eat you up and they will chew you out. And you know what? I mean, just on a side note, to me, Fox News is the establishment. Their establishment. They will take you and then they will chew you and throw you out and not think anything about it. And I think that is when you look at that, what is establishment and what is independent, what is small, what is, you know, nimble, that is what we're talking about the fact that now Trump is feeling this for the very first time. He's feeling this. I have confidence in him that he ain't going to allow this to happen to him again. He ain't going to, this is what we were saying earlier today. He needs to take these next 2 days and just stay really quiet and stay out of it, and he needs to really think. He needs to remove fake news. He needs to remove all this other different stuff, and he needs to really think. He needs to take that brilliance that he has and figure out how to turn around. There were a couple of things in these press conferences, both the Paul Ryan press conference and the Trump conference, that I want to talk about for these folks and bring it down. They talked about tax reform and how tax reform is going to be extremely difficult. And, you know, so you may come back here and be like, you know, why? Why does it have to be difficult? Well, first of all, tax reform in general is going to be very difficult. You know, whenever you have a bigger problem, it's a bigger thing to solve, right? It's huge. And tax reform is huge. Now with the president showing that he can't get something through as easily as he thinks he can, there are going to be people who have a lack of confidence in him. There are going to be people who have lack of confidence in Paul Ryan. It is going to be hard to get consensus on things. Now, had he done this first, we talked about this, had he done this first and let Obamacare continue to just peel itself into the abyss, so to say, it would have been fantastic, because once he put money into Democrats' hands, he would have had a better listening, a crowd that was more apt.
I liked your other theory better. I liked your theory about killing Obamacare through 1 million cuts. One by one, dismantling different pieces that would give relief to both families and small businesses. That makes sense. That's what he promised. I heard him say this time and time again when he was running, is that they would be really efficient and just target this, you know, with laser precision.
I didn't get into the nuance of details, but when I'm saying when I said weeks ago, in fact, I said it, I think right after his presidency, go for tax reform first. And the reason why I picked tax reform first, honestly, was because there was so much hatred towards him. You know, being down in Washington, D.C. during the inauguration, seeing the way the reaction was with the burning of the cars and the Women's March and all the hatred of him, I said, you know what, he needs to change the narrative. He needs to come out with something that isn't, because when you take, look, Obamacare is a disaster, all right? But Obamacare still comes off, just the name. Okay, I'm going to take away what your guy gave, and I'm going to put in what it is. So it's still this you versus us thing. Tax reform, putting money in everybody's hands, would have done more than just help the economy. It would have helped bring people together, and the division together, because we're both making money from this guy. Hey, we're both doing well from this guy. And so when I'm talking about what he should have done with that and just letting Obamacare fall into the abyss, I didn't say to you, but I felt he should be taking the bricks out and replacing with little tiny little things that he could have done.
Well, one thing is, I think you might be giving the Democratic Party too much credit for its willingness to work together with Republicans and President Trump on tax reform. Even though it sounds nice and it would make sense for their constituents to support tax reform, would they really?
I think they would have.
Yeah?
Here's why. Because it goes back to what I just said before. In this particular case, you're taking away Obamacare. Many people who are Democrats, remember who votes Democrat.
Yeah.
By and large, you have the people underneath the poverty line. By and large, you have people who are $30,000 and less voting for Democrats.
Plus the top 1%.
Yeah, plus the top 1%. People who live in my neighborhood who have these great big huge homes. But when you and who else? You have a lot of immigrants who are coming over who need the assistance of the government, right? Mm-hmm. So you have these people there. They love Obamacare. They think Obamacare's the cat's meow, okay? So to them, there's a lot of them who say, don't take this away from me. You can't take this away. I got insurance for the first time in my life. Don't take this away from me. That's why I'm saying with tax reform, you bring people together because everybody's getting a check. Mm-hmm. And people, money makes the world go round, whether we like it or not. So had he done that, and he'd just been surgically doing different things with Obamacare, I think it would have been a different story. Yeah. Now here's the thing. He said something, and I understand why they're doing it. And again, remember, my job is to, I want to pull out the spin that you're getting from everybody, okay? We need just to put this on level ground. He said no Democrats would give him support. Come on. Yeah. He couldn't have thought he was going to get one Democrat. They're using this right now to pull him down. They don't want to help the president. They want to pull him down. And here's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. Yeah. Collectively, as a party, Democrats stick together. Republicans do not.
Well,
and as a party, Harlan, they want to rip him down.
Well, that might be true relative to the Republican Party, but there are plenty of times when the Democratic Party is splintered. I mean, even right now, there's still a big schism that's divided the Democratic Party into two pieces. I mean, it's the establishment wing that was beholden to Hillary Clinton and is clear to be on the way out, and then this super radical socialist wing of the Democratic Party. So there are two warring factions, but to your point, when the times really get tough, they all come to the table, right?
I think that all Democrats are basically in sync on one message.
Okay.
We want Trump gone. And there are Republicans. There are Republicans. I will bet my two arms on this.
Including Paul Ryan.
There are Republicans who still believe we want Trump gone.
Yeah.
And that's where the big difference is.
Yes.
Paul Ryan says, I just want to shift gears to Paul Ryan for 1 second. Yeah. Paul Ryan said that he tried to fill the promise with this bill. He tried to fill the promise of what it is, the promise that they gave to the American people. No, you didn't, Paul Ryan. Because what you didn't do is you didn't craft a bill that would focus on pulling out the essentials of Obamacare, all right? And the essentials of Obamacare are what is making the premiums and the deductibles go like this. He didn't do that. He went more down on tax incentives, and he went on pulling out credits and stuff. And everybody that I've talked to, everybody who I listened to, everybody who said who's on my side of this fight that has said from day one, there's no chance I don't want this thing at all. We've all argued that same thing. Why didn't he go down that path? Why didn't he focus on our premiums going down? And he didn't. He pushed that off so far down the road. That's why people couldn't get behind this.
Well, that's why. So this was a strategic decision that they made. They could have gone and written an entirely new bill. They could have repealed Obamacare and had an entirely new bill to put in place. But the bill that they actually wrote was hamstrung because you could only really modify Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, because they were trying to pass this bill through reconciliation. And so I believe that's the problem, is that they decided to go through use this back door to try to pass this thing. Whereas if they had gone and really tried to do this the right way, they would have had a much more difficult time writing it. Now, in hindsight, what we've seen is it didn't matter that they had this back door. They still couldn't get this piece of garbage passed. So it was a bad strategic decision at its core. But that's the reason that they couldn't work in all of the changes that anybody would want. That's why they were saying they had to break it into 3 phases to do it. And in every great mind that I've spoken to, on both sides of the aisle about this, everybody agrees that there would never have been a second or third phase. That we were really, in large part, being duped. And I think maybe even President Trump was being duped to some degree.
Well, again, I come back to the fact that, he has incredible business experience, but he has 0 Washington, D.C. experience. And so in his Washington, D.C. experience, the lack thereof, I think we watched it. One of the things that he said about Paul Ryan, I wrote certain things as he was talking down. One of the things he said about Paul Ryan was that, he likes Paul Ryan a lot. I mean, I don't know, unless he was lying out of his teeth. He said he really likes him a lot. And so that I don't understand, right? Because we were supposed to clean out the swamp. So I'm a little bit confused on that one. I'm also confused about it because if he likes Paul Ryan so much, are we going to see a repeat here for tax reform? Are we going to see a repeat here on everything that we're talking about with border and everything else? Well, and then let me just say this, and then you jump in. He said Paul Ryan worked really hard on this. It wasn't a matter of working hard. To me, he worked really wrong on this. All right, so that's why I still have my concerns.
You know what really was scary to me was that Paul Ryan was so bearish, or he was so down on the prospect of getting tax reform. Yeah, and I expected him to be upbeat about the prospect of being able to get that done, even on a gloomy day like this one, where he has had probably the failure of his career thus far. So that's concerning to me, and that probably will have ramifications on Wall Street because they pretty much baked in, I believe that that's the reason for this Trump rally, they pretty much baked in the assurance that we're going to get it by the end of the year and it will be backdated to the beginning of this year. So that's a red flag for me. That he doesn't seem to be very optimistic, that they saw the success of this healthcare reform bill as part and parcel with the passage of tax reform, that these 2 things were going to be connected. And that's not good.
Look, the one thing that you could rest your hat on, if you had $100 in your pocket and you had to make a sure bet, here's the sure bet. That the Koch brothers and the establishment and everybody who's part of the establishment, they're not going to come out and say it. But they're thrilled that this took place today. They're thrilled that this took place because they know this is a hit for Trump. Now, I want to sort of shift gears here a little bit and come back to what does this mean for Donald Trump president? Because everybody who's watching, the 2,300 people who are watching us, are all fans and supporters and voters of Donald Trump, unless, of course, we've got some trolls in here. So the question becomes, what does this mean for him? So let me hear what you think happens to President Trump in the next 35 days, because that marks the first 100, and what happens over the next couple of months. Because don't forget, believe it or not, the summer is going to be here before we know it, and Congress goes to sleep.
They're not going to work.
Yeah, they go to sleep. So what do you think takes place here?
Well, I don't think we're going to get any landmark legislation, for one, which is concerning. But 2, in terms of his personal growth, I mean, he acknowledged, and you've mentioned that he said that he learned a lot from this experience. And it does seem as though there will be no room for failure moving forward, at least as it relates to Paul Ryan. And so to sum this up, I would guess that any further successes or failures that we see out of this administration in the next 60 days will be in the form of executive orders. We talked earlier today about some things that he could do that would be very, very quick, and he wouldn't need to rely on Congress to get them done. That's where I see him going. In terms of long-term prospects, we can't rule out anything at this point. It's way too early. It's premature to judge the prospects of his administration based on this one legislative failure. I mean, that's what it is. It's a failure.
From my standpoint here, and this could be, I don't know, I'm at least 20-something years older than you, right? So from this is maybe going a little bit more of the older man in me that's coming out. Aside from the fact that I dread paying my health insurance every month and getting nothing good in return for it, and knowing the fact that the majority of our supporters, listeners, and donors all suffer through the same sort of thing, I'm happy this happened. I'm happy this happened for a much different reason.
Okay.
I have supported Donald Trump long before he walked down those escalators. I feel like I have said that now for the millionth time. And I will continue to support him for as long as he's my president and for as long as I believe he remains, by and large, honest.
Yeah.
If he starts lying to me in big ways, then he loses me as a supporter. And I'm not talking about as a news person. I'm talking about as an American, as a father and a husband, and whatever. Okay. He needed this. He needed to get knocked on his buttocks. He really did. Because, you know, one of the best videos that I ever made when I was at Newsmax was one of my first ones. It went completely viral overnight. And it was a video that said, you got to allow President Trump's ego to work for you. You know, if you don't like him because of his ego, let it work for you. And I always thought that when he came in there, he would be so geared up on getting his face up on Mount Rushmore, and that he would know that he had to solve the problems in America to get it up there, and that he would strategically come up with the way of doing it. I haven't seen that guy. I've seen a guy who's been too concerned about his image in the news, about the ratings of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that it made him feel good that he had better ratings than Arnold did. He was happy to see this kind of failure. It's fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. It's the, you know, Russia, 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 Russia. Yeah, President Trump, you went into this knowing that people were going to hate you.
Sure.
You went into this knowing the fact that the politics is a dirty game. Let me tell you something. Well, I spent every single day of my life for 7 years slamming President Obama. This is nothing new. So what I think what happens here is that he got knocked off his high horse a little bit. Doesn't mean I don't love him. I've had it with one of my sons before. My son thinks he's the cockiest thing in the world. He goes 0 for 3 at a baseball game. I said, see, you're not so great after all, are you? You know, you're just like everybody else. You know, come back tomorrow. I like him having to go back, dust himself off, come down a little bit off the we won the election, we did this, we did that, and let it humble him a bit. I think if he were to take a big, huge spoonful of humbleness, he could come back and really focus on being the great leader that we all know is there.
Well, one thing that I noticed time and time again is that I heard somebody say that this was really Donald Trump's first failure of his political life. And that isn't really true. We saw during the primary that he had plenty of moments, or not just in the primary, but throughout the entire election, that he had plenty of times where he would come up short, or there would be a mistake or a gaffe or something like that. And that's always when I saw Donald at his best. You know, after his first debate, people said that he didn't do so well. The second debate was one of the best that I had, some of the best moments that I can recall in presidential debate history. When his back is up against the wall, the guy is a natural-born fighter, and he does want the win. But the win isn't this battle of winning or losing this specific healthcare reform. It's what you're talking about. It's his legacy. And so I do think he'll go back to the drawing table. So what I'm saying is that we've seen time and time again that he has these moments where he is brought down to earth just a little bit, and he comes back fighting. But my question is, how does this change the relationship, the dynamic between him and Ryan? Because it seems, as an outside observer, that he trusted Ryan to get this done. He trusted him. And whether he was lured or duped or dragged or whatever.
Or maybe he just likes him.
Or maybe I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
The two have a very checkered past. I mean, just a month before the election, Ryan was trashing him. Yeah. I don't believe that they actually have that great of a relationship. But he obviously trusted him enough to outsource this bill to him to get it done for the win. How much trust, how much leash does he give Ryan going forward is a huge unanswered question. And I think that it really matters. I
disagree with you on this one. I disagree with you on this one at all. I mean, completely.
Okay.
You're saying that you don't think he likes him. You don't believe that. And yet he's going to give the legislation that could ultimately sink many parts of his presidency to a guy he doesn't like.
Oh.
Why don't you? That's like me saying I don't like you, but I'm going to let you babysit my daughter for the weekend.
Because Donald trusts, I mean, we see this in business. He trusts somebody to get, he's looking to an expert, somebody
Why would
that
you
has
trust
experience.
somebody who went on record saying I will never support him, no matter what?
When you look at somebody like Reince Priebus, somebody that is very much part of the Republican establishment, and he trusts him enough to come in and run the White House, to be the chief of staff there. So he has done this before. People that he's not necessarily.
Reince Priebus was in his corner for a very long time.
After the primary, but I mean, look, these two are not natural allies.
It was still, still crapping on Trump not long before the election.
Yeah.
He wouldn't give him his endorsement. He disinvited him from an event in Wisconsin not far before the election.
It eventually came around, yeah.
Paul Ryan has given President Trump no reason to believe that he can be trusted or that he will help him in any way, shape, or form. That's the part that I don't get in any of this stuff, and why I think that the president has to go back and realize the fact that he really doesn't have any friends that he thinks he has that are sitting there.
Yeah.
And somebody just responded here, and I just happened to look down because I wanted to make sure the feed was okay. They said, you know what, I can't listen to DML anymore. Trump is fighting the establishment. The Freedom Caucus is not the establishment. It's made up of establishment. It's made up of Tea Party. It's made up of people who are fiscal conservatives. You know what I mean? You've got people from different walks of life here saying, I don't want this bill because it's no good. Well, this wasn't an establishment versus Donald Trump.
Well, can we put Trump aside for a second and let's just talk? Can we agree? Well, I'm not going to ask you to agree. I'm just going to say, I think Paul Ryan is a snake that cannot be trusted by Donald Trump. And if I were advising Donald Trump, I would tell him that he should push through the various channels that he has for Paul Ryan to resign. And he did the exact opposite today. We ran it on DennisMichaelLynch.com saying that in the event the health care bill does not pass, Ryan should not resign. He should remain the Speaker of the House. I think that that's a huge mistake.
Okay, so you're talking about who's advising them. I think that's a fantastic lead. Who's advising the president? We have, as far as we know, Steve Bannon, who was Breitbart. Okay? There aren't many websites, aside from maybe ours, who beat on Paul Ryan more than Breitbart. So if he's got Steve Bannon next to him, being labeled by many as his top aide, how did Paul Ryan get into this situation? Is it that President Trump isn't listening to his aides? How did that happen? That's the question of the day. Yeah. You won't hear anybody else on Fox or anybody else ask that. I'm asking it. Steve Bannon, Breitbart. Go to Breitbart and try to find one good positive article about Paul Ryan. I defy you. Yeah. Try to go to our website and find one positive article about. If I'm sitting next to President Trump, from day one, I'd be saying, hey man, no way.
So this is what, so they talk, somebody in the comments you just said was talking about he's fighting against deception. It's true. It's true. So why, when he got to Washington, did he all of a sudden start trusting people that admittedly had much more legislative experience than he did? But why did he start trusting them despite the fact that they had time and time again, and it's not just Paul Ryan, it's others. Why did he start trusting them that they would be on his side?
Look, Mike Lee is anything but establishment. Mike Lee, you could watch Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, on television for the last 2 weeks saying this bill is a disaster. If it comes to the Senate, it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Rand Paul is not the establishment.
No.
Rand Paul has been hitting the siren on this thing.
I'm not saying that he was fighting against the establishment on this bill. I'm saying that he capitulated to the establishment and started working with the establishment on this bill. This is not the bill that the anti-establishment would have written. And so that's my question. I'm getting back to the origin of this.
Why did he do that? That part I can't understand.
That is the unanswered question of this quarter.
He said we were really close. We were really close.
Yeah.
10 to 15 votes short is not really close.
Yeah, and it puts aside the fact that this bill would have gotten to the Senate and it would have been laughed off the floor. Right? It would not have even been up for a debate. So this wasn't close. Not even close.
So let's come back and let's wrap it up on this. Okay. Where does the president go next? And I'm not talking about this weekend, whether he goes to Mar-a-Lago or New York City or goes to a golf course and tries to just blow off steam. And I'm not talking about tax reform or whatever. I'm saying, where does he go next? In his thinking, how does he move forward? Does he love and get bigger in bed with Paul Ryan? Or does he pull back from all these guys and try to go down the executive order route and says, you know what, I have no friends here, I don't trust any of these people?
Two predictions, one specific, one broad. I think that he's going to back off of somebody like Paul Ryan, and he will take the legislative agenda into receivership and will start relying more on somebody like Mike Pence and some of his his closest advisors on future legislative work. Two, I think that he's going to turn back to he's going to start looking for a high-profile, easy-to-attain win. And that's not tax reform, because that's going to be difficult.
No. And if he goes 0 for 2?
It's going to be a really big problem. He's going to need a high-profile, short-term win. I would bet it's something to do with the wall or something to do with immigration. I'm saying he needs a visible, high-profile win. And that would be my guess.
You are making delusional arguments. The system does not work the way you were thinking. Thanks, Mike Hammer. So, yeah, all right, the system doesn't work the way we're thinking. What are we thinking? That the president was lured in by
be more specific.
Be more specific and make these statements. So here's how the system works, is that in order to get a wall built, that wall is not going to be built for quite some time. They may try to put some things in place. You got all these companies bidding.
Yeah.
After they bid, they got to award it. After they award it, they got to get everything established in place.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all these different parts. You got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then I can tell you right now, we just did a thing the other day. It says, the wall is going to alter a golf course or something like that.
Yeah,
I didn't get to read the whole thing.
Texas.
Yeah, but not everybody around the border area wants the wall. You got to keep that in mind. You got this idea that everybody wants the wall.
He doesn't have to build the whole wall. I'm saying that I believe if I were him, I would look for a visible something where he flies to a stretch. I mean, there are parts of the border where there's already been authorization to build the wall, right? Find the funding for it, go do a groundbreaking ceremony, and get a win like that. I'm not saying he has to build the whole thing to get this win. I'm saying that I believe that he's a showman, and that's something that I would do, and I could see him doing it in the short term.
So you think his next step should be focus on the wall?
I'm using the wall as a metaphor.
I'm just saying,
as a metaphor, yeah.
So you think the wall?
A high-profile, easier to attain win, yes. I mean, he could do something like E-Verify, but that's not visible enough, even though it makes more practical sense than a wall does. And we beat that to death. That's not a visible win. It's not a high-profile win that fulfills a campaign promise.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, he said that he thinks he's probably going to attack tax reform next, as noted before. I would have liked to have tax reform first.
I know,
but. Let's assume for the matter, because look, man, I'm telling you, if he thinks he had a hard time with Democrats now, they're going to apply the pressure.
It's not going to happen.
They're going to apply the pressure even more now. So he's never going to get support about anything. That's why I said this morning with the SCOTUS thing about the fact that they want to do the filibuster. Yeah. They're layering it on. They're going to layer it on and layer it on. And let me tell you, with this thing here, obviously, because we came on right after we did it, I'd love to see what some of the headlines are on CNN and New York Times and LA Times and all the mainstream media. I'd love to see what it is that they are, what they're saying. They're going to beat him. They're going to beat him and beat him and beat him.
I see some other people are saying trade and some of these other issues. Look,
economy, jobs. Do more things for jobs.
I'm totally with this. Look, I'm totally with the prospect of tax reform and trade and rebuilding the military and tackling problems with healthcare. But I'm trying to be pragmatic and saying, what is the next thing that he can reasonably do that isn't going to require literally an act of Congress? Because I don't think that he has the wherewithal or the structure or the advisors in place to get a win in Congress at this point. So I'm saying go back to something that's a low-hanging fruit.
I'll tell you another thing that he may be able. Well, you have to. I think at this point you have to create an environment where you almost force the Democrats that if they do not say yes, if they do not help, they just look like the evil empire.
Yeah.
All right. One thing, although it's not going to change the economy or anything, but I think maybe if he were to turn a little bit, and these are little things he could do. Remember I said earlier?
Yeah.
Little things. It doesn't have to be these big, colossal
No.
things. I think if he were to shift maybe a little focus towards veterans,
It's a good one.
if you look at the things that he's talked about when he was coming in, it was about Obamacare, it was about illegal immigrants, and it was about veterans and jobs. He's got those 4 things. He's been doing good with jobs.
Yeah.
We've been doing good with jobs. So do more of the same with that, right? That's number 1. Number 2 is, I've been championing all day long for get me E-Verify, do whatever you can to get people cutting off the magnet, do whatever you possibly can. Sit down with Jeff Sessions, who knows this stuff as well as anybody else. Take in anybody else that you can. There's a guy out of Kansas, I can't remember his name, is guy with the brown hair. He wrote a lot of the bills. He's he's huge down there. Meet with some of these lobbying firms like Numbers USA. Sit down and say, what can we do? What low-hanging fruit can I do to help American workers and put fines and do whatever I got to do in place and hit some of those. But then if he were to turn around and address veterans and the VA, which is still sitting there broken. I mean, every day when we see the articles that are going through DML,
it's terrible.
I sit there and I say, well, my goodness, I had one guy today say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about, something went wrong. We've had trouble playing the video.
Yeah, but I mean, I think people have went in and out. I've been.
No, it's literally this.
It's literally it. Refresh it, because that's what people were saying on here too. Yeah, I think we're still live. Are you guys seeing us?
Yeah, we are. We're still live.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if he were to do, it's fine. Okay, we're back. So I think if he were to do something with veterans, and not only because it's the right thing to do, but also because it would sort of smoke out the Democrats.
Yeah.
We've got 22 or 23 number, I think the number is now almost, of veterans killing themselves through suicide every single day.
Yeah.
They still can't get their stuff through the VA like they're supposed to. If he were to try to do things there and tackle things there and show progress there and do whatever he can, bring people in and say, what are the small little packages I can do? That sort of thing, because people will, what Democrat's going to say, no, I don't want to see veterans killing themselves?
That would be a good short-term legislative win, assuming they could take up the issue. Then the other one that I think there is common ground on, and this is a big one, this would be a big issue to tackle. It'd be infrastructure spending, where you have both Democrats and Republicans with trillion-dollar plans. The only difference is funding, which is a big question.
Right.
But this is a commonplace. This is the nexus of both parties. Both parties want to see this. Maybe there's something there, but I would not make that my next issue. I mean, it's too high profile to risk having it blow up in your face.
You mean the tax reform?
I'm talking about infrastructure spending.
Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, if there is, again, that's a big, like you said, it's a big thing. It's another place where there's going to be a lot of fighting. I think what he needs to do now is what Ryan did to him. He has to lure the Democrats in.
Yeah.
And then he's got to give something to America, which is where everybody comes away happy. The tax reform thing, as you've said and as he said, and I wonder when he thinks about this a little bit more, whether or not he does try to tackle that next, because the Democrats will try to make it be that he goes 0-2.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. All right, what do you guys think? Let's take a couple of these comments here. You ready, Harlan? I'll read you out some comments, and you throw out some questions for Harlan, and I'll read them to him, and we'll get him to answer some questions here.
Hey, guys, no worries. I do have socks. They're just short. I see that was a comment.
So what do we got? We got come down on employers like illegals. Yeah, we've talked about that, Harlan. So the coming down on employers with the illegals, I think if you were to do more with the illegal aliens, I think that would help. But I don't know if it's going to help the left as much as it's going to help the right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, any questions? Any questions for Harlan whatsoever other than where he buys his socks? Somebody said assassinate Kim Jong-un. Yeah, all right. All right, I'll tell you what, these comments go by so quick it's hard for me to read them. I don't know if we have anything.
They're asking why Comey was with Trump today. They say that was just a regular meeting, but...
What, Comey and Trump?
Yeah, Comey was at the White House meeting with him. He said it was a regular interdepartmental meeting. That was the quote. So, I don't know.
All right. We know Harlan needs more light on his face.
Yeah, we're going to work.
Yes, we only have half the lights on, so keep that in mind.
We'll fix
We're still our official launch really isn't until April 3rd. April 3rd is when. You know what we'll address? Here's a little fun stuff for you. The sofas. Let me tell you the story behind the sofas. You want to know the sofas? Tim, can you show the sofas? Because everybody comments on the sofas. Look at the sofas. Green. Oh, there you go. Perfect shot of it. The green sofas. Okay. So anyway, so here's the thing about the sofas. When we came, when I rented this place, there was absolutely no furniture. I rented it unfurnished. All right. So we were like, all right, well, we have to. We need to get some sofas, and we decided that we were going to have a desk and sofas, and we were going to make it a living room with a mix of technology, right, and with the screens and stuff. Well, there's off to the side, there's almost like a little side cottage here. There were these 2 sofas, and I'm like, oh, great, we don't have to spend money on sofas. We'll use these 2 sofas, and nobody wanted to tell me that they were completely 100% ugly.
No. I did. And your wife.
Yeah. And my wife told me they were ugly. And Harlan told me they were ugly.
And everybody.
But I was like, listen, man, we don't have to spend. We saved ourselves money on the sofas. We saved ourselves money on the sofas. And everybody, there's certain things where Dennis just needs to take the scenic route. And I was like, oh, we'll buy like blankets, and we'll throw the blankets over the sofas and whatever. So we're getting all this stuff, and we're trying to put this together, and everything has been working. There's the sofa. Everything has been working around these sofas. My inability to say goodbye to these free sofas. And today, after we did the whole thing, because we got our other stuff in, we got more stuff coming in. I mean, by the time we're done, it's all gonna be beautiful. And then some of you are like, oh, DML, you're too big for the desk. This is not the original desk I had ordered. I had ordered a bigger desk that was a semicircle, and what happened was it was supposed to come, and then they turned around and they pulled it, and they said, no, we don't have any more. So we had designed this whole thing off a semicircle, so I got this desk. It's not that this desk is too small, it's that I'm too big. So what I'm gonna start to do is I think I'm gonna put like a scale over there. And this way I could step on the scale, and every day I'll lose a little weight. And before the skinnier I get, the better I'll be at this desk, or whatever it may be. But I have finally come to terms with the fact today I said to Harlan, I'm buying the sofa. So I'm cracking down. I'm going to buy a sofa for this side, and I think I'm going to buy 2 nice chairs. What do you think about 2 wing chairs on that side? I get 2 wing chairs, and we'll get that. So that's the story of the sofa. So yeah, the sofa and all the blankets and all the stuff that we've been trying to buy just to turn around and make this all work. That's the deal. So let me get a couple more of these questions that are coming in here. Asking a question. Should I opt out of Obamacare with $13,800 deductible? My goodness.
Yeah.
Mary and I, Dennis, you look like you're working out. Yeah, I am. I'm working out with donuts.
It was the Girl Scout cookies. I saw
the Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, my lunch today was a bag of Thin Mints. Right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were. There's a thing of Thin Mints. There's no food in here. There's no food. At least I'm drinking water. Yeah. All right, so DML, talk about our lack of mental health. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll talk about a couple of these other little tiny things here. It was a Friday, and we do have to get home. But wait, that other. Oh, should you? Mary and I just had this conversation. I said to her, I said, I'm not paying it anymore. I want to drop it. I want to drop it. I think that if something bad were to happen to us, knock on wood, I'd rather just make a payment plan with the hospital. I'd rather make a payment plan with my doctor than continue to pay all these dollar amounts. Now, whoever this $13,000 deductible person is, I'm imagining that's your deductible, plus you got your monthly payment is probably skyrocketed. That's what I think you're going to start seeing people do. People are just going to dump it. They're going to say, all right, I thought something was going to change. I was going to hold on to this thing, and we're just going to dump it. That's what Mary and I are talking about. We're just going to dump it. We literally the other day were saying, all right, I'm 47, and I once had I had a polyp. I went in for a colonoscopy, and the guys that came in, you got a precancerous polyp. I was like, woo! So you know what? So I said, all right, worst case scenario, if I got colon cancer, how much does that cost? I mean, this is the way we started to go down things. All right, we'll have to pay this if we pay it off per month, blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is the way people are going to start to manage their lives. And this is unfortunate. This is why it is sad that the Republicans and Paul Ryan, and I'm giving the blame to President Trump where he has to take the blame. He pushed for this thing. He wanted phase 2, phase 3, but you couldn't get this one. He couldn't get this one. How is he going to get phase 3? So to that degree, I'm not going to tell you, I'm never going to give you financial advice. I'm not allowed to do that. If I did that, you come back and you get me. But I can just tell you that Mary and I, we're going to be I'm dropping. I'm not paying. I'm not paying it anymore. I'm just not. I'm not paying the $1,500 a month plus the thousands of dollars in deductibles. You know, and I'll just eat better and try not to get sick. How sad does that sound, right? How sad does that sound? Wait, you have to get. Look, Mary said, you need to get rid of those sofas. Enough already. It doesn't work. Should we call Mary? We'll call Mary. You want to call Mary? We'll
Is
just
she
make
a
some
mind
fun
reader?
of it. Mary is a mind reader. I don't know if she's, I don't know if she's right. Mary, I'm calling. She probably won't answer it, so hold on one second.
Yeah,
let's see. Let's see what we get. I have a $10,000 deductible.
Whoa.
Look at that. Dump your insurance. She's not going to answer because Mary hates to come. She hates it when I point the camera at her. My brother and I pay $2,400 a month.
Hi, this is Mary. Can't get to the phone. Leave your name and number. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.
Guess not.
Yep.
Go ahead, read some of these things while I try to get in touch with her.
Sofa covers. We tried sofa covers. Didn't work. Let's see. Your health will improve. Give us some more. Are you calling her again?
Yeah, I'm going to try it. Let me see. $16,000 deductible. That's insane. Drop it. Yeah. $6,500. Terry Gilmore. $6,500.
You guys like the guitar? Somebody just talked about those. Those are neat.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
I just walked in the door. Hold on. I got the girls.
All right. Well, listen. You're on.
I just tried
you're on
to call you back. I saw you were trying to call me.
You're on Facebook Live.
What?
You're on Facebook Live.
Why do you do that to me?
Why do I do that to you? All right. So, Matt, first of all, I want to ask one other question. What is our deductible?
I don't know because it's a new plan, so I haven't been able to look it over yet.
What was our last deductible?
The last deductible, well, we just had, it wasn't family, so I think it was like $6,000.
$6,000 deductible. All right. All right. Now I was telling everybody here that I wanted to get new sofas, and that you said no, that we should keep these sofas.
Cal, hold on. Are you kidding me? I've been fighting you since day one about those sofas. They're terrible. They're ugly.
Yeah.
I watched your thing earlier. They just look terrible. It doesn't work.
They're gross. I have to sit on it.
Yeah, I tried the blankets, man. It's just not working.
No.
Dan, everybody... I'm not going to start yelling. You have me on live. I told you from day one that they weren't going to work. And we've been trying to do everything around them. It's just stubborn Irish.
All right. Well, this weekend, we're going sofa shopping.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right. What's for
You
dinner?
can find something reasonable.
What's for dinner?
I don't know. I was just at the skate park rollerblading with Kelly and her friend. I just walked through the door.
What a great life you have. What a great life you have.
Yeah, freezing my butt off at the park.
Okay. All right. What's for dinner, please? Something good?
Bye, hon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so there's the real story about the sofas. It's Mary's fault. And yeah, the couches are ugly. Now people tell me they think the couch is ugly. Why didn't you guys tell me this before?
They have been all along.
Everybody's been telling me the couches are ugly?
Comments, yes.
Oh my goodness. Get off the sofa. Don't respect that. Oh my goodness. You guys don't like this. Does anybody like this sofa? Anybody?
They're saying we should wear hats.
Bring home takeout. They're telling me that I gotta go get dinner.
Yeah.
Meatloaf? I don't know.
Pizza?
All right, pizza.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm
gonna do that.
Good. Yeah. I like buffalo style chicken.
Yeah,
pizza.
that sounds good.
You like that? Yeah.
Yeah, or I like chicken parm or meatball.
Chicken parm. These things are all fattening.
They're terrible for you,
so
but
fat.
they're
so
so good.
heavy.
They're so good.
All right. So anyway, what do we say about it? What do we conclude with Trump?
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what?
Brighter days are ahead. I think this is a good learning experience, and I'm optimistic.
Yep, I go back to it too. I go back to the same thing that says, you know what, this will humanize him. It's going to wake him up. It's going to snap him out of it, and he'll come back fighting harder.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Thank God he's the president and not Hillary Clinton, because I firmly believe we would. I really don't know if this country would have survived 8 more years of this. So thank God.
I guess that's, if you want to use that as the upside. I guess you could use that as the upside.
It's a binary choice.
I guess you could use that as the upside if you're trying to find a sunny day. I do believe that getting knocked down and a little bit embarrassed maybe a little bit humbled is what he needed. And so hopefully he does learn. Maybe he was just being nice and being a president, saying stuff about Ryan that's nice.
Yeah.
But hopefully he comes back fighting, and he comes back with some kind of really good plan and says, all right, we've got to sort of start this over a little bit and hit the reset button. And what do we have that's been working so far? And let's work off that. And I think what has been working so far are jobs. Mm-hmm. So how do I create more jobs? How do I get more people, money in more people's pockets? How could I get more illegal aliens out of this country?
Well, why jobs have been so good and why Wall Street's been so happy is because they think that tax reform is coming. A lot of business owners and small business owners have newfound confidence that we're going to get these things, and now they're investing in their people and their companies. If it looks like things are going to be unstable, if we can't get health care done, if we can't get tax reform done, if we can't get infrastructure done, we might see people start to pull back again. Because I think that a lot of this has been speculative. They've been excited that, thank God, we've got a new leader here who's going to take us in a different direction. But we need to start delivering, or it may not pan out.
Well, let's hope the tide changes.
Yep.
Let's hope it changes. But anyway, all right, so what does the weekend look like here? All right, I think I am doing a walk and talk on both. Are you in the city or are you here on the weekend? You're on
Here.
the weekend? You're
Yeah.
on the weekend? Maybe I'll split one with you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Harlan will do one walk and talk. I'll do the other walk and talk. We'll both be doing it from our own places. I'm going to be opening up Harlan's gifts this weekend and confiscating them. So anyhow, all right. You know, some of this stuff, why we're going so long, what are we, almost an hour? We are really doing a test. So, you know, that's one of the things.
We've done over 2 hours of live broadcasting.
2.5.
Yeah.
2.5 hours. Yeah. And I don't know if we said anything they liked. Let me see. Yeah. Thin mints. Yeah, we're still talking about thin mints. That's when you know that we're struggling here. Thin mints. Thanks, Dennis and Harlan, for the info. All right. What else? Let's see if we have anything else here. Trying to read. My father is in danger of losing his business on Long Island because of the DOT raising rent, pushing small businesses out. Yeah, Dennis, I love your desk, but something is off, and I think it's too small for you. All right, here's why. Let me tell you what's off. I know what the problem is with the desk. I'm not getting rid of the desk. The desk was expensive, and I'm not waiting anymore. And you know what? And I like the circular desk, but it is a little small for me. You know, so I'm a bigger barreled chested person, and so that's why it looks like I'm dominating this. Plus, you're a little bit lower than me, so I think when we get the sofas, we get a sofa that's, you know, I mean, that's an old sofa too. So when the sofa's up a little bit, you know, you're sinking a little bit. Plus, I'm sitting on a kitchen chair, so when I get, you know, my chair comes in, I'll keep it down a little bit lower, whatever it may be. And too, it's just because, you know, I need to lose some lbs, man. I mean, if I lose some lbs, I look a little skinnier behind the desk, right, Tim? No? Yeah. So the only other thing we could do, what kind of desk should I get if I were to get rid of this desk? If we use this desk for something else?
Just a wider one, right? I mean,
a wider desk, like a table?
What we need to do is we need to get rid of the table behind you.
Oh yeah, this table behind, this is temporary. I think that throws it off too. Does that throw it off too?
I think that throws it off, and we're going to put that TV on the wall behind him. It'll look better.
All right. It says, give Harlan the little desk.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Wait a second. Oh, the way you're allowed. Yeah, come on. You gotta keep on telling us all your little decorating ideas. Let me see. How you decorating? I can tell you right now, the desk is not leaving. All right, and I'm not getting rid of the table, and we're not getting rid of the little coffee chest. I mean, this stuff was expensive.
I like the chest.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not getting rid of my duck. Where's my duck?
Yeah.
My
Pelican.
The pelican's staying.
We still don't have a name for it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the lamp was something I took from upstairs.
I like it.
You know, we still got to make Harlan's safe space in the back.
Oh no.
Yeah, the safe space.
No.
Somebody said about the pink walls. Harlan tried to. I got to give a lot of credit to Harlan and to Tim, but Harlan has been doing a lot of the. He's been wiring everything and putting things around or whatever it may be, and he's basically just only been using the stuff that we've had here. But he's trying to give some little extra lighting. So we don't really have pink walls. No. It's that he tried putting a blue light up on it, and it's coming off pink.
We can change those colors. We were just experimenting.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we're contending with is that this wall is orange or pink to begin with.
Ha! I like Sarah Decker. Hold on. DML, I stumbled across you on a walk and talk. You have predicted where every play and every point. Yeah. I have.
And they say I need a chaise lounge, like I'm here at the Sykes office, right? You know, I'll just kick my feet up.
A lounge, yeah, like a psychiatrist sort of lounge.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm with you on that. You're doing fine. Alabama here. DML, you do what you want. Everybody just go happy, Harlan like happy. All right, it's going so quick. These things go by so quick. I don't know how you people read all these things.
Sell the desk. No.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be Harlan's safe spaces in the corner there. Because Harlan is a millennial. He's a Democrat. He originally was for Bernie Sanders. You know, in many ways, I have saved your life.
Now, I think I'm more pro-Trump than you now, though.
No, I'm pro-America. You said I'm pro-America.
Yeah.
I'm pro-America.
Yeah.
I'm
going to see you with your Bernie sticker on here soon.
There's an argument that says that if you weren't here, I'd have 0 viewers at this point.
Oh, no.
Because no, there is. Because you're always trying to stay positive on the Trump thing, and I can't ignore what I know and what I feel. I just cannot ignore what I know and what I feel. Yeah. And I want to see this man succeed, because if he succeeds, we succeed.
Well, and to your point, Donald Trump doesn't need more cheerleaders. You know, he doesn't need us to be cheerleaders. He doesn't need me saying how great he is. Okay. He needs us to hold him accountable. So I get it. I'm just trying to be optimistic because I still think it's early days, you know. If we're having this conversation in a year from now, if March 2018 we're having this conversation, I'm going to be really disappointed. Yeah. But I don't anticipate that, so.
No, I do believe he's going to turn it around. I do believe he's going to turn it around.
Yeah.
I certainly do.
All right.
I certainly do. Let me see. What have you found out about the no bells ringing that day? Linda, I haven't had the chance to go, but I will this weekend. What would you say Donald say about those couches? What do you think Donald would say about those couches? Let me tell you something. One thing about Donald Trump, if I have really one huge critique of Donald Trump, he would have wanted to make this whole place gold. I think the gold stuff in the Oval Office doesn't look good.
No?
No, it's not my thing.
Too gaudy?
Yeah,
what color would you pick?
Me?
Red?
I'm a darker red guy. I mean, you know what I really like? Really like? I like dark navy blues.
That's
nice. I think that looks rich and it looks
dark
nice.
Navy blues with gold is a good look. That's a good look.
Yeah, I guess so.
A little gold accent or something?
Yeah, a little gold accent. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. But I'm a dark. What about you? You're a millennial.
Like navy. Well, Obama had like a dark burgundy at some point, so I wouldn't go that way. I think I'd probably do like a dark navy. That's nice. I like that.
Dark navy? Yeah, I like dark navy. Somebody wrote here that they said that they don't, that remember that Trump doesn't have his cabinet yet. He's got a lot of people in his cabinet. You know, everybody thinks Barack Obama got his cabinet in 7 days. It's not the case. No. It's not the case, man. It's not the case. This isn't a function. What's happening right now with this bill, this isn't a function of not having his cabinet. Don't make excuses for what happened today. Don't make excuses what happened. This was just a bad decision. It was a bad decision, a bad business decision. It was a bad bill decision.
Yeah.
He learned. He learned. You know what? Here's the good, you want to see, I'll come with more sunniness of this whole thing. If this thing would have passed today, you still would have been paying high insurance. If it didn't pass today, you're still going to pay high insurance. So ultimately, if you want to look for the silver lining, because that's like what Harlan likes to do, I'll look for the silver. The silver lining here is that the president learned a huge lesson today, and he took a pill of humility, and he should come back with keep that ego, but have a little bit of humility in there, and come back swinging, trying to figure out how you start to pile up some wins. Boom, 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 boom. And this, nobody will even remember it. Nobody will even be talking about it anymore. What else? Let me see. Dark is dreary, Barbara says. Dark is dreary. Yeah, all right, dark is dreary. I don't know, maybe the sofa, we should get like a big tan sofa. Yeah. You know, like a little pop. What do you think?
Well, I don't know how wide it should be, because these are love seats, you know, with the screen in the background. We might need to.
You want to go a little wider?
No, I don't think we need to be as wide as a sofa. Like we could. These love seats are the right size.
Yeah. There's love seats with two like wing chairs.
I think that's great.
Chairs. What do you think about the two? Come on, tell us. Sofas with love chairs. What do you think? Give me some things
couches.
Here. Lion the Denver. Gold. What? Did somebody write gold couches? Who is that? We've got to ban them.
I lost them.
Yeah. Who is that?
It might have been Trump.
It was Trump. Yeah. That sofa has to smell. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I'm not smelling it.
Well, if Harlan and I, we had a conversation yesterday about washing clothes. Harlan believes in taking his jeans and putting them in a freezer.
No, I heard this. This was like a rumor, like a trend that's going on. People are, instead of washing their jeans, they put them in the freezer. So I don't know.
Yeah, I got here, they said 2 high back chairs. All right, so 2 high back chairs. I think everybody likes the high back chairs thing, but Harlan needs to sit on the sofa, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, because sometimes you got to go to that side. Sometimes, based on the show that we have, you have to go on that side. You can't go changing chairs. That would be
That'd
bizarre.
be weird.
Yeah,
and an empty chair doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't. Build base under couches and put stairs to rise up Harlan. I don't know, Sonia. That's a lot of work. I'm getting tired. DML, do you think it was an outside source for the wiretap? Do I think it was an outside source for the wiretap?
Like the British.
Do I think that Trump do I think Obama was involved?
Do you think that Obama, instead of having the CIA or the NSA do it, they had some other outside group do it? That's one theory that's being floated around. That's what Napolitano got in trouble for saying.
That's what he said. No, he thought it was the British.
Yeah, the British did. That's what I'm saying.
Like an outside agent that
group.
came in.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. I just think this is all distraction.
At this point, who cares?
I just want it to go away.
Move on.
It doesn't change my life any.
No.
You know, we played. Timmy, you got it still on your computer, or did you get rid of it? You got my drive at 7-Eleven today. You still got that? Well, I want to play something for you. Because I don't know how many of you were with us today and how much you weren't with us. We got 1,300 people. See this video that Tim's playing? This video, I shot this video this morning at 7-Eleven. See all those guys standing around? Those are illegal aliens. They're still here in full force trying to get jobs. Play it again, Timmy, after it goes at loot. Play it again. This is, if you have seen my movies, They Come to America 1 and 2. I started off both at the 7-Eleven on Eastern Long Island. They come every morning, they stand out there, and they get picked up by the contractors. On any given day, you will have about 50 to 100 to 200,
That's crazy.
depending on what time. Now, I shot this video this morning at 9:15, so the crowd's a little bit smaller than it would be otherwise because most of these guys are getting picked up around 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning when the contractors are starting. So that's what you're seeing is the aftermath. Nobody's going home. You know, President Trump, low-hanging fruit, get rid of these guys. Get rid of the guys who are hanging around at Home Depot. Get rid of the guys who are hanging out at 7-Eleven. Get rid of the 6 million illegal aliens who are doing construction jobs, especially with the summer coming. You know, I just had a guy. You want to talk about upside? Here's something very interesting. Forget about the sofas for a second, right? I have a guy who is actually doing some work at my house right now out in the backyard, right? So he had to do something with the fence. He had to clean up. The house I live in used to be with my grandfather. It's been my house for like 100 and something years. And so for that 100 years, it has been the theory of let's put everything over our little fences. It's like, you know, because I live around a forest. So let's dump the leaves and let's dump the Christmas trees. I mean, my grandfather's been dumping stuff forever. And he died. And, you know, we've been doing some of that stuff too. Like the leaves, we dump them over the fence. Well, this guy came and I asked him to please clean out my yard, clean up the perimeter of my yard. Please do it. And I told him, I cannot have any illegal aliens at all on my property. You have to understand that. Now, this is a guy who watches. And he's like, Dennis, I don't have any illegal aliens. And he said to me, he is seeing more people trying to get these jobs, Americans trying to get these jobs.
Absolutely.
And you know what that means? That means to me that they're having hard times finding other stuff in the contracting business. And so in the contracting business, you continue to move down as you can't, you know, you'd like to put up dormers. If you can't put up dormers, maybe you just put up windows. If you can't put up windows, maybe you're just doing some painting. If you can't do painting, maybe you're just doing a little, who knows, a little picking up or whatever. And so these guys are coming from what was the contracting. They're now coming into doing landscaping. Yeah. So he says, I'm having no problem finding guys who want to do this work. You know what? Get rid of these illegal aliens and you'll wind up seeing more of these guys doing this work. Yeah, my landscaping guy may have to pay a little bit more and he's going to charge that off on me, but I'm going to save the money and not having to pay for these kids in my school anymore, in my hospitals. Mm-hmm. I love it. Low-hanging fruit. Get rid of these guys who aren't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I mean, the more the merrier if you did it the right way, if you followed the law. If you broke the law, you're out. You shouldn't be here to begin with.
All right, we're going to answer 2 more things, then we're going to jump off. And because we just went over an hour, and I'm going to watch the playback on this later on tonight and see how all of it went. I didn't get, you know what we didn't get this time? I didn't get a lot of people complaining about spinning. Oh, here we go. Just as I said it, I'm spinning. I'm watching it.
asking about the DVDs.
I'm spinning it. What about DVDs? Somebody buy a DVD?
Yeah, tell them to go buy them. So you're asking.
Oh, well, for any of you people who bought DVDs of the movies from me, what happens is we make a certain amount, and then we ship them all out, and then we have to wait and get another batch made. So a lot of times if you order like in that wrong week, you may have to wait 2 or 3 weeks before I get it, and then we ship it, and it takes 10 days to get there, so what have you. We just did another mix of them. If you guys want to get these films, I think I have them. Where the hell do I have them? Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I don't even know what I have them for. How does that sound? We're responsible. All right, hold on. I'll tell you right now. If you go to DennisMichaelLynch.com, and you are on your desktop or laptop, and you go all the way to the bottom, all 5 DVDs. What the hell are we putting these things up there for? I think all 5 DVDs. Let me see. All 5 DVDs for how much? Oh my goodness, how am I making any money? All 5 DVDs. I've made 5 films to date. They Come to America 1, 2, 3. We Ride to DC, which is fantastic, and A Day at Bundy's. Those 5 things, you get all of them for $20, and I think the shipping is $5. So you go to DennisMichaelLynch.com, and then you just look on your desktop to the bottom left. It will say Offers of the Week, and you could get it there. All right. So that's that. All right, hold on. That's it. Tim, what do you got going on this weekend?
Party.
Party. What kind of party?
I don't know. I'm trying to sound cool. I'm probably gonna sit in bed.
Sit in bed.
Netflix. Yeah.
All right, Tim's going to sit in bed. Harlan is going to do walk and talks.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to work the website the whole weekend. All right, that's it. You have anything else to say, Harlan?
We're good. Have a great weekend. Be safe.
Right. All right, have a great weekend. Be safe. And God bless you. God bless President Trump. God bless our troops. And God bless the United States of America. And God bless, who should we head in there, Harlan?
Donald Trump?
Donald Trump. I already said him. He's the president.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who hired this guy? God bless Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He rose his hand.
He volunteered.
He volunteered his hand. Is it raised his hand or he rose his hand? He raised his hand.
It's Friday. I can't.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
All right. Adios.